Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the Thai Expat Daily Show. I'm your host, Kieran Mack, as always, and delighted you've been able to tune in with us yet again for another show. Now, before we get into the top stories trending here in Thailand, don't forget, as always, to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when the next show is available on the platform. If you like listening to us on a podcast player, link down below in the description where all the available podcast players can be found. And finally, if you want to support the show, if you like the show, two ways you can do it. First way is become a channel member, 100 baht a month. Link down below in the description on how to do that. And the other method is to simply donate through the buymeacoffee.com website. Again, that link is down below in the comment section. So we're going to jump into the first story. Actually, before we do that, let's just quickly bring you up to date on one or two of the stories brought to you the last day. Thaksin, as we all know, will be getting out this Sunday. A couple of very interesting online comments where, well, isn't he very sick? And if he's so sick, well, is he just going to miraculously be cured on Sunday and head home? So apparently that's exactly what's going to happen. He's been in hospital for months in very, very bad condition. But this Sunday, he will be okay and suitable to return home, not to another hospital, but home. Apparently a spokesperson told some of the people protesting outside that actually some days he's very, very good and some days he's very, very bad. So I suspect this Sunday he will be very, very good. So this Sunday will be the date. You'll have to use those for the lottery numbers here in Thailand. That will be a very, very lucky day for many, many people, including Thaksin. But nevertheless, let's jump on and move on from that story. The first story, and a nice, interesting story to start off with. Thai elderly lady searches for a foreign couple who saved her from drowning. A 74-year-old Thai woman named Sujitta Thongnum in Phra Nakhon Si Ayutthaya is searching for a foreign couple that saved her life from drowning in the Chao Phraya River. She told her story on February 14th. The grandmother was on her way home from a medical examination on February 8, 2024, when she was dizzy and fell off a ferry near the river in Ayutthaya. She could not swim and sank very quickly. When she woke up, she was being held by a Western foreign couple. She was too shocked to ask for their names or contact information, but someone took a picture of herself with the man. She later learned the couple was about to board a boat with a bicycle. When they saw her fall into the water, the husband immediately abandoned his bicycle and jumped in to save her. The couple's belongings, including a phone, camera, glasses and cash, were lost in the water. The total value of the belongings is estimated to be hundreds of thousands of baht. However, the couple said they did not want anything in return. They just were happy to help save someone's life. Sujitta's daughter later posted the picture on social media and tried to find the couple. They want to compensate them for their belongings that they lost in the water. Now, Sujitta is also grateful to a Thai woman who helped her out of the water. She offered the woman a reward, but she also refused. Thaptin Thai Samang, a 45-year-old boat operator, stated that she observed the foreign man jump into the river and carry the elder lady's safety. The man's wife attempted to help pull that lady out of the water, but was unsuccessful, so she assisted the pair. If the foreigner had not immediately jumped into the water that day to pull the old lady out of the water, she might have drowned, she said. Thaptin went on to say that she was relieved to have rescued the elderly lady and did not consider the reward. She was simply wondering how she was doing, so seeing Miss Sujitta in a good health today made her very, very happy. And this is a really nice story, and it's a good way to start off the show with a real positive story about people being nice to each other, treating each other with respect, going above and beyond to save a human life and not wanting anything in return for doing that. And even though the old lady is offering to, replace and compensate the foreign couple for the items that's lost, I can guarantee they don't want it. Because people like that are good people and they do things to help people. And you don't save somebody's life expecting to get rewarded for doing it. In fact, it seems this couple have just disappeared off into the Thai sunset, are enjoying their holiday. And yeah, nothing about them. They have not been found as of yet. I'm sure that the old lady would love to show her appreciation by compensating, but I can guarantee you these people will not accept it, because people like this are just good human beings. And it's great to see a story like this, and a story that, really warms your heart. But we'll move on to the next story of the day. And, well, not as warming, but netizens hit out at pricey Phuket airfares. And this has been going around on the internet quite a while. Now, social media was flooded with complaints this week from local travellers regarding the exorbitant prices of airfares to Phuket. Other users mentioned that low-cost carrier fares from Bangkok to Phuket soared to around 14,000 baht per trip for just 2 to 3 days before departure, while others reported paying 5,000 baht for a one-way trip despite booking weeks in advance. Now, Sujitta Thongnum, president of the Thai Hotels Association Southern Chapter, noted a consistent increase in both airfare and hotel prices in Phuket since the pandemic's end, largely due to heightened demand during the current high season, particularly from foreign tourists. The surge in demand during the peak season, particularly from the international tourists, had driven prices up. However, domestic leisure travellers are less affected, with foreign tourists comprising 90% of Phuket travellers this month. During the Chinese New Year period, Chinese tourist numbers surpassed Russian visitors for the first time, reflecting the seasonal fluctuations in tourism demographics. Despite the inflated prices, hotels maintain high occupancy rates during the high season, generating significant revenue for the province. Now, regarding airfare regulation, while airlines typically adhere to the regulated ceiling price set by the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand, additional fares and taxes can push the final price above these limits. While airfares remain high due to the season and last-minute bookings, prices are expected to gradually decrease after the high season ends in April. Phuket has resumed domestic air traffic, but the influx of tourists strains available services, particularly for local business travellers. Some locals opt to drive to nearby provinces for cheaper flights. A key concern is whether the quality of goods and services matches the increased prices. Overcharging and subpar experiences may deter tourists from returning to Phuket, highlighting the importance of maintaining quality standards alongside pricing adjustments. So, yes, prices to Phuket domestically have been, even internationally, have been quite expensive, but we're going to talk about domestically at the moment. And yes, during the pandemic, flights were very, very cheap, but there was a reason for that, is that the airline had no international audience. So in essence, they were relying on the domestic traveller to use airlines and to keep them going, and prices did come down. In fact, the government were actually subsidising through the We Travel Together subsidy scheme. I don't know if any remember that. It was the government people would pay 60%, for example, for a hotel room, where the government would pay 40%. The same thing applied to airfares. You would pay 60% and the government would pay 40%. So there was a reduced fees. There was also a thing that AirAsia were doing during COVID, and it was you could buy basically a package for the whole year. You paid a certain amount of money, and then you could fly as many times as you want during certain periods of time during the calendar year. And that also was very successful. Of course, that has disappeared now as well. I think the main takeaway from this is that fares are going to be notably more expensive in Phuket and going to different parts of Thailand, once the tourism industry got up and going again. I noticed in the article they don't compare the prices to 2019 or 2018, and I suspect the prices are probably quite similar to what it was then. The same with hotels as well. Hotels are all about supply and demand, so if they have high occupancy and they have a couple of rooms left, they're going to sell them for a high rate because they know they can get it. They know the demand is there, and that's why they're going to do it. It kind of is a little bit sad in terms of something that I had hoped that would have been addressed and fixed kind of after and during COVID was, a lot of these provinces, Phuket, Pattaya, they really reached out to the domestic Thai traveller during COVID to help them survive and get through what was a very hard and tricky period for hoteliers here in this country. But it seems as soon as the gates opened up again, hotels really couldn't care less about the domestic traveller. they could care less the prices, because the prices are out of the reach of a lot of Thai people, and that's, the bottom line in it. They've really forgotten about the people who helped them get through COVID and helped them survive. And now that the tourism is back up again, they have super high rates. And I feel that's a shame. I think hotels should reach out more to the Thai domestic market, and they should offer even discounted rates. And I feel because there's a huge disparity between the incomes earned, let's say, from holidaymakers in Europe, America, Australia versus the income earned by Thai travelers, and there should be something done for them. And I think an appreciation for the help that they did for hoteliers and airlines during COVID, I think, has certainly been forgotten. But we'll move along to the very next story. A bid to lift afternoon alcohol sales ban has been rejected. Now, we brought you this story, Heather. It's spoken about, I think it's been 3 and 5 every day, or 2 and 5. You can't buy alcohol here in Thailand. There's many reasons for it. Apparently, one of the reasons was to stop civil servants getting drunk in the afternoon. Seems a little nonsensical, but the Thai Alcoholic Beverage Business Association proposed extending alcohol hour sales to align with tourist promotion efforts. The proposal was discussed by the Alcohol Beverage Control Committee at the Ministry of Public Health, with representatives from various ministries and experts participating. However, unanimous agreement favoured maintaining the afternoon sales ban due to concerns about alcohol-related accidents and social impacts. I guess extending the hours, drinking hours till 4 a.m, no. But during the afternoon, we can't have it. The National Alcohol Beverage Committee will make the final decision next week. While some argue for economic benefits, preliminary evidence suggests increased accidents and social issues since the pilot project allowing extended alcohol sales in certain areas. Civil society groups oppose the extension, citing health and social concerns, and plans to monitor the committee's decision closely. So that's also referring to, as I said, the alcohol being extended to 4 a.m. open hours. They're saying, well, okay, has it been beneficial to society? It's been beneficial to bar owners, possibly, and club owners, but in general to society. Has accidents increased during this period in time? We'll bring you the daily accidents tomorrow, actually, and how many people have passed away and been injured on the roads up until February 17th or 18th. But again, they have said basically they're not going to get rid of this law where you're banned from buying alcohol in the afternoon in normally, guys, convenience stores and stuff like that. If you go to a hotel, it doesn't happen at all. But a bit. I think it's a bit silly, to be honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't be too concerned about people getting too drunk in the afternoon and driving. I mean, actually, if they're at home in bed by 7 p.m. at night time, wouldn't that be a better thing? But we'll move along to the final story of today. Now, Phuket's weed shops face new crackdown. They're going to be facing a bigger crackdown very soon, but we'll jump into this. Phuket Provincial Police are intensifying efforts to combat illegal marijuana trade on the island, prompted by reports of foreigners smuggling cannabis, selling it illegally, and organising unauthorised parties. Police Commander Major General Sukhum held a meeting with the Phuket Cannabis Association to discuss strategies for monitoring and inspecting marijuana shops. Officers will conduct inspections to ensure compliance with the Protection and Promotion of Traditional Thai Medical Knowledge Act. The goal is to prioritise tourist safety by cracking down on illegal marijuana shops and suspending licences of those found violating the law. The meeting involved officials from various agencies, with Pornit Thames Wanpanavich, president of the Phuket Cannabis Association, advocating for stricter regulation while still supporting access to medical cannabis products. Our regulatory enforcement aims to create a structured and sustainable cannabis industry, striking a balance between accessibility and control. Now, a lot of the problems that have come up with this whole issue with the cannabis and other things, to call it the broccoli, because YouTube don't like cannabis, is that it's the open smoking that's going on. There was a lot of talk about the recent Coldplay concert and people complaining that they were there to enjoy the time and you could just smell weed everywhere. And this is what they're talking about, is the open smoking of it at events, outside, in public spaces where other people and children and families are trying to enjoy. And that seems to be the issue. Now, if the Phuket police and they want to find the illegal shops, just take a look at some of the advertising around and the levels of THC being advertised. Again, this is kind of pointing the finger, this article, at foreigners yet again. They seem to be bringing it in. How are they smuggling it in? Through airports? If you're smuggling it in through airports, then you need to talk about your customs and excise officers and what's going on there and your drug detection at airports. But again, illegal parties, and is a party illegal? I mean, the law on cannabis is so vague, it would be hard to prosecute anybody on anything at the moment, but it is looking like it's going to be changed very, very soon. Not very soon, maybe in the next 6 months, and things for a lot of these shops, I think, probably will end up going out of business because the law simply won't be supporting them. But nevertheless, that is it for today, folks. Thank you, as always, for tuning into the show. Hope you enjoyed the 4 stories we brought to you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care, have a great day, and thanks again. But ultimately, with this story or anything else that stood out to you today, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Because yes, this is a news show, but it's also a conversation. Now keep that conversation going. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and do all the good stuff that does help that YouTube algorithm. But ultimately, my name is Kieran Mack. You've been listening to the Thai Expat Daily Show, and we will see you next time.